Hello, Nasties, and welcome back to She Who Persisted, the Nasty podcast. Today we have a super exciting episode, and I won't spoil the surprise, but we have a guest who you might be familiar with. I'm sorry for my audio on this one. I was recording at work, and between the road noise and the sirens and a bunch of other things, yeah, you get it. We hope you enjoy this episode, and we have a bunch of really great episodes coming up soon, focusing on abortion in the United States and Europe and what the heck we're going to do about that. So stay tuned and stay nasty.
She was warned. She was given an explanation. Nevertheless, she persisted.
Hello and welcome to The Persistence. This is She Who Persisted, the Nasty podcast. My name is Beatrice and I'm here with
Elizabeth.
Did you miss me?
I did miss you.
Yeah, I'm back now. I've been very stressed out and busy the last few months, so you didn't hear of me a lot, but I'm back.
So tell everybody what you've been busy with.
Well, so I've been working in government. No, okay, you need to cut that out because it's wrong. I've been working in Parliament.
Yes.
And especially the last few weeks have been very busy, which is also exactly what we're going to talk about today, right?
Yes. So I'm thinking the title of this episode should be, I Took a Trip to Ibiza.
Yeah. Or you could just take the Venga Boys, song title, We're Going to Ibiza, because it's been kind of a, the song of political protest in Austria right now.
Oh man. So,
yeah.
So Austria, I mean, you can explain it better, but, Austria impeached their government.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. So on the 17th of May, I'm going to try to make it as short as possible because if you want me to explain everything, I'll need like 3 hours. But basically what happened is that on the 17th of May, a video surfaced that showed our vice chancellor and another member of the FPÖ. The FPÖ is the right-wing party in Austria that is also, we don't really know how close to the Identitären, which is a right-wing extremist group, which, one of the things they did was give money to the Christchurch terrorists. So,
are you kidding?
Yeah,
me?
No, it's true.
Oh my God.
Continue. So the FPÖ has been in government with the ÖVP, which is the Conservative Party, since December 2017. And there's been a lot of things happened. The FPÖ tends to call it Einzelfälle, which is like one of the things that surfaced was that the Identitären, as I said, paid money to the Christchurch terrorists, and that some of the people that are in the FPÖ are also part of the Identitären, which is a right-wing extremist group. Then,
yeah, I mean, this was the whole change in government in Austria, like post-Trump, when a lot of, in Austria and in Germany too, a lot of right parties
exactly
gained votes. The issue in Germany was that they got over the 5% hurdle, which meant that they now had representation in the parliament. In Austria, they actually took control of parliament.
Yes, exactly. In Austria, they took control. And so obviously a lot of, we call it Einzelfälle, ironically, because the FPÖ always calls it Einzelfälle. So it's just singular, or how would you translate that? Like singular.
What, like individual cases?
Individual cases, yeah. But a lot of those individual cases happened where, anti-Semitic, song books emerged and all of that. So a lot of things happened is the preface to what I'm going to tell you now. And then on May the 17th, what happened is a video surfaced that showed the vice chancellor and another member of the FPÖ in Ibiza. or Ibiza, with I don't know the English word for it, but the supposed niece of a Russian
oligarch.
Oligarch is the word, yeah?
Yeah.
And they were drinking vodka Red Bull and taking cocaine, although everybody says it's not cocaine, but it looks like
what was it?
Well, maybe it was just flour. I don't know.
It was not flour, and it was not talcum powder, and it could have been bath salts, which is worse than cocaine.
Let's say, for legal reasons, let's just say, because that's a fact, there was white powder on the table. We don't know what it was. Okay.
Gotcha.
So, and they were talking about, they were promising that the niece of the oligarch, that she could buy, basically the biggest Austrian, tabloid newspaper, the Kronenzeitung, and they could, and she then would, report positively on the FPÖ, which would then make them basically win the election. So that was the deal that they were trying to make. And
that
also
sounds so familiar in American politics.
Does it? Does it?
Really? Interesting. Anyway.
Yeah. So, and then also one other thing that they kind of promised was that, they could, so in Austria there is a company that's called Strabag, which is basically a company that does like infrastructural projects, like streets and stuff. I don't know. I know nothing about these things. And he kind of, Strache, the then vice chancellor, suggested to her to basically found a company like Strabag, and then she would get all the, what's it called? Aufträge.
Contracts.
Yeah, she would get all the contracts and could do all the projects and therefore also get the money for it. Of course, that's highly corrupt.
Yes.
So they're not just right-wing extremists and anti-Semitic and all kinds of things, but also they are extremely corrupt. Then the next day, so this video surfaced on Friday, the 17th of May. And then on Saturday, the 18th, the vice chancellor gave a public announcement where he said he would step back from his seat as a vice chancellor. But also,
hold on a second. Your chancellor is like a millennial, like right-wing extremist, yeah?
The chancellor, well, he's actually in the Conservative Party.
Okay.
The chancellor is the one who's in the Conservative Party, but in the last, kind of election, before the last election, he kind of took over the party and he turned it from a conservative party essentially into a right-wing populist party. But it was originally the Conservative Party, and they are in a coalition with the actual original right-wing populist / right-wing extremist party. So it's bad. And the vice chancellor is a member of the FPÖ, which is the right-wing extremist / populist party. Okay. And so he announced that he'll step back. And, if you speak German, I suggest you watch the whole thing because it's amazing. Cause it's like full of, the video itself, is full of obviously toxic masculinity and sexism. But then what he does in his like explanation, apology, I don't know what it is even more amazing because he talks about how he was just behaving like a stupid teenager. And he's very sorry, and he apologizes to his wife because he tried to impress the niece of the oligarch. So it's kind of a boys will be boys narrative.
I was just going to say, it's a boys will be boys narrative.
Exactly.
And he thinks he thought that was going to fly in like a post-Me Too, like Frauenvolksbegehren kind of environment.
You know what? It did. Because a week after that, there were the elections to the European Parliament. And he was also on the list of the FPÖ, but very far back, so that he did not have any realistic chances of actually getting in. But so many people gave like a Vorzugsstimme to him, like a vote of, you can vote for particular candidates in addition to particular parties. Yeah. So many people gave like a vote to him. So many people elected him that he now actually has the right to get a seat in European Parliament.
What's wrong with people?
That is a very good question. What's wrong with Austria is my question too. So it did work. It did fly, which is even more interesting, but also like shocking to the extreme. Okay, so that happened on Saturday. Then on Sunday, our millennial Chancellor Kurz, our Chancellor, announced that basically the whole government is now like, it basically imploded. So there will be an expert cabinet.
And what does that mean exactly?
So that means that all the members of government that were on the FPÖ side, all the ministers on the FPÖ side stepped back. Mm-hmm. And there's another story behind that, but I'm not going to tell it now because it's too long. And they were replaced by experts. But the problem with those experts were most of the experts that were now, ministers were also quite close to the ÖVP. So it's actually like an ÖVP Alleinregierung, what happened.
Sure.
Okay, so what happened next was the parliament decided to do a vote of no confidence against the chancellor and his government, which there's no comparable, comparable maybe yes, but no such thing in America. But I think the thing that's most comparable to it is like an impeachment process. So basically our government and the parliament, the majority of the parliament said that they don't have any confidence in the government anymore, so it had to step down. But that happened last week.
Okay.
And then what happened was that our president, which is a very different thing to a president in America, because the president in Austria is basically like he's not actually governing the country in the sense that the American president does. So
Germany has the same thing. In order to avoid Hitler, kind of, they changed it so that the president is much more kind of ceremonial and a figurehead than actually having a great amount of power.
Yeah, he's actually the one, or she, but up to this point it's only been he, has the role of like looking over things, and he can also reject certain ministers so that they can't get into government, etc., etc. So it's more like an overlooking kind of figure. Mm-hmm. So he had to basically look for a new chancellor.
Okay.
And the deal was that he was also going to look for like an expert cabinet. And he now chose a woman. So we now have, for the first time in Austrian history, a female chancellor, which is the actual head of government. So like the president in America. So, yeah. That
is kind of exciting to have a first female chancellor.
Yeah.
So who is the new female chancellor?
So she's called Brigitte Bierlinger. Wait a minute. Did I say that right? Brigitte Bierlein. I'm sorry. Okay, so cut that out. She's called Brigitte Bierlein.
Okay.
And she's also, I mean, we don't know much about her, but she's been the president of the Austrian Verfassungsgerichtshof, which is like the highest court, like comparable to the Supreme Court in a way, I think.
Yeah.
She's also been the first woman in that position, by the way. And now she's chancellor. And there's a lot of debate going on because she's also a right-wing conservative, which is not surprising at all, because the president needs to choose someone who's backed up by most of parliament, and the right-wing conservatives have the majority in parliament. Because if he would choose someone who's not backed by the people in government, then the next thing that would happen is another vote of no confidence, which would not be very wise.
Yeah, of course.
So there's a lot of debate going on, a lot of people telling feminists that they don't have a right to be excited about that, which my argument goes like this. You know, we have a right to be excited about that, because the one thing is a woman, you know, the one thing, like there's two elements to this, I think. The one thing to be excited about is that a woman now has a job that only men had before, that a woman has a position of power that only men had before. And then the second thing would be actual feminist politics. And you cannot expect a lot from her in that sense, but, you know, that's another question, I think.
Sure. I mean, it's interesting because the parallel with Germany is is striking. Angela Merkel, who is now going to be kind of leaving office in the next year, probably, she was also from a conservative